Friday, October 17th, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. And I start out with stock index to go to futures and some stocks. And of course, some generalized market commentary to start with, uh, which is right now. So we have a rally about 3, 4 points higher on the close, a little follow through in the afternoon market, nothing significant. And it's not a new high. It's not a new high close. It's a little bounce. Yesterday, we had one of the lowest closings, second lowest for some of the indexes. We seem to be starting a little bit of a sideways trading range. Day number 5, the highs and lows overlap fairly significant percentages. So a little bit above today's high up to the high of Wednesday holds, I think, the highs for all week. And the low today, although it's a little lower than any other low earlier this week, it didn't hold, and the market turned around and came back up and closed higher. So we're between a rock and a hard spot. It's a little bit, not major yet. Any close above Wednesday's high, I'm going to get very nervous about maintaining my bearish expectations, which so far have been so-so. But a close below today's lows, especially below October 10th lows, would make me very happy. And I do think that's going to happen. I do think it's going to happen next week. So, what do we got on the next chart? We got a 5-minute chart, and you can see how blocky this last week of trading range has been, topped out in this zone up here, bottomed out in a bit of a zone down there, and we end up closing inside that range. We have a doji also for the SPY today with a little bit higher close. Not particularly important. Dojis generally mean indecision. And you can see the sideways trading range that's developing here as well. We still have a bearish engulfing ER sell signal at the top of the market for the QQQ on October 10th. Today's slightly higher close doesn't do much for me, although it would have been nicer if it would have been lower. Next, QQQ, blocky trading range, basically. And we have the 3 bearish engulfing sell signals in the last couple of weeks for the NQ, NASDAQ futures, but none of them are the highest high, and that's a bit disappointing. But I do mention frequently that sometimes my signals are not necessarily the top or the bottom of major moves, like you got the green back here, April 9th. Some of these reds did fairly well. Obviously, July 31st, kaboom. The next day was a real big down day. But sometimes they're part of topping out and bottoming out, if they're green, formations or trading ranges. But again, not always do I catch the highest high or lowest low day. Frequently, yeah. Next, sideways blocky trading range for NQ, 5-minute chart. We have a green sell signal that has been damaged, broken, and canceled because the low today on the YM was below the low of October 14th, which was a bullish engulfing legitimately, and I talked about it on that day and in detail. So that's dead. So that bullish is now killed, which is kind of what I said. I didn't trust it on the day that it happened. Took 3 days to kill it. Okay, so we're neither here nor there, except for the tops that we have seen on some of those charts as far as the high days or a whole mess of sell signals and breaking lows on October 10th that go back over a month. So that adds up to a downside breakout and a top of a market, which is yet to be really proven significantly. That's what I mean by closing below the low of October 10th, and I think next week. So here we go. Russell, last daily data chart, and not quite the same as any of the other indexes, but no new highs. Okay, bonds overbought today, second time in 3 days. New high for the trend, but it closed lower than the close of yesterday, which is pushing the resistance levels. So it pushed through, but couldn't stay there and broke right back down. This is a mild, kind of not very trustworthy normal reversal, but I like the fact that it happened in new high ground and couldn't stay there and it got overbought at the same time. So this could be a turn down. I don't have a name for it or anything, but notes have done the same thing. Notes popped up to new high ground, got overbought, closed poorly. That kind of combination again looks to me like we could slip back down to the lows of late September, early October. Next, oversold in crude oil, second day. Not that that's a low day. We could still get more and more oversold, but I would not be anxious to go short here. That's for sure. I would be looking for bullish engulfings. I would be looking for buy signals. I would be looking for reasons to have a low risk long entry. Ain't got anything yet, but I think it's coming up probably soon, maybe early next week. Next, we're oversold again 2 days in a row. New lows for the trend down on natural gas. So I have to say the same things identically, except, natural gas is still on its way down from a major head and shoulder top that I talked about months and months and months and months ago. And we had recently another kicker that was bearish, and that was the bullish bearish engulfing on October 8th. And we have been down one, two, kind of unchanged, three, uh, 4, 5 days, and out of six, it looks like 5 out of 6 days, and now today up a little, but oversold. So we're probably going to bounce back up a little bit, 3.04, 3.04567, something like that, and turn down again. New low for the move down, heating oil, but now oversold and definitely trading 100% today below the support line and bottom of a previous wedge or pennant, flat bottom right triangle. So breakout confirmed, in my opinion, but got oversold. Can we bounce back too much? I don't think so. And make new lows real soon? Yes, I think so. Next, gold has a whopping big bearish engulfing ER sell signal. I talked about blow off tops yesterday. I talked about being very, very, very cautious about going long up here. I talked about hoping that I might find this for today's activity. Bingo. Love it. Now let's make sure it works right. I can afford to see a bounce back on approximately the middle range of today within the next few days. That wouldn't bother me as long as it stopped there. Or it's just going to start dropping like a rock and go straight down, and it could be very fast and substantial because of the blow off top and the overbought levels that it reached. This looks highly likely, in my personal opinion, to be a significant high in gold. And on top of that, we have the exact same commentary in silver. Huge bearish engulfing ER sell signal outside down day. This is what I've been watching off and on, mostly on for a couple of, well, maybe 3, 4 decades. Next, platinum. Almost. All we had to do was get above yesterday's high, but it couldn't quite make it there. So today's high is not above yesterday's high, therefore not a bearish engulfing, therefore it didn't turn red. But pretty big down day. Almost a new low and a new low close for a week and a half plus. Probably tomorrow. That would be Monday, of course. And what about high grade copper? My. Outside down day, bearish engulfing doesn't look bearish to a lot of people, but that qualifies. Higher high, lower low, and the close is lower than before. Plus, we were overbought within the allotted number of past days. So, this could be, should be, I think it is the start of the next wave down in copper, which will probably drop it off to 4.6 and maybe even all the way down to 4.4. Next, grain, beans, a little higher high than the last few days, good. A very strong close, good. I really want to see it close above 1030. That would make me significantly happy because so far, we bought the low day, October 1st. Bullish engulfing ER buy signal, as well as we also bought the low day, well, almost the low day, sorry, but the beginning of the rally, that's for sure, on August 11th. So the last couple signals have been really good for beans so far. But again, I'd like to see some follow through above 1030, 130 on a closing basis next week. Pushing the resistance line in soybean oil, can't quite get through it. It did that yesterday, but closed poorly. So I wasn't sure whether we're going to see too much more weakness. The low of the day was below yesterday's low as well as Wednesday's low, but it came back good. I get the impression that we're maybe going to gap up on Monday and break out of this down channel for the beginning, no, for the continuation of this move up, which started in oversold conditions in a support area at the bottom of the channel. Classic, unfortunately, didn't get a red or rather green bar. Next, new high close for soybean meal, doing a damn good job. This is a new high close since about the last week of September, last 3 weeks. I didn't close above all of the highs during the last 3 weeks, which I'd love to see Monday. Then we were going to move up even more because this resistance area, today's high, was tested once already. And if it's broken right away, I think that's a very good sign. Next, corn, almost the same story. A little resistance line, high of a week or two ago, up a little on the close, nothing to brag about. But I think it's just barely a new high closing price by a very small amount for the last couple of weeks. I wish it was a larger move up. Doesn't hurt though. Watch out. Could have a breakout in corn real soon. And if we get above 431, you realize that would be a new high for about 3 months. Next, wheat. Well, okay, so it's rallying a little bit, but we really have to do something profound here. What about our long-term bear trend line? They should have drawn that in. Okay, we stopped, and now whether we're going to stop again or not, let's find out. Next, I don't have a lot of hope for wheat at the moment. It's got to develop a lot more bullish activity, in my opinion. Apple rallied up a little, but now it's coming up to some previous lows. I still think there's more downside. It did close an old gap, so that's done, but there's another one down here. And also it didn't really test support very well. So I'm not sure, but I think this could roll over and turn down still. We have still a bearish engulfing ER sell signal on the top of the market on Tesla. Today was pretty decent rally, popped up, so. Nice close, best for a week and a half. No breakouts one way or the other, no reversals, just a little bit friendly on the surface. But I have to rely back on my bearish engulfing at the top of the market on October 3rd. That still is dominant in my mind, so I'm looking for lower lows. Back down to close this gap right in here. Then there's that gap to be concerned about, although that does begin to drop you down into support areas. 2 bearish engulfings, none of them canceled out, just a little bit higher for NVIDIA. I'm still looking for lower lows, support to be tested, maybe down to 152. Next, AMD I've added a couple of weeks ago. Little double top of sorts, overbought conditions, little bit of a reversal yesterday, and today it came down a squeak more, nothing major. Tested support and bounced a little. I don't know. I think this has a chance of topping out. I'm just not getting any significant signals, but it does look a little more toppy than anything else because of the double top and the overbought conditions. Next, back. You guys have a great weekend and, of course, profitable trading to you.